Hi there, and welcome to the sales tutorial. What we'll go through briefly now is the various different sale options available within Software for Fashion. The retail program, which is your standard sale, a credit sale. We've also got a credit damaged merchandise option, which really moves the credited stock or merchandise into a alternate stock room or warehouse, if you like, in the event that it's damaged and going to be passed over to the supplier for credit. The other options that we'll have a look at are the lay-by sales, which play a big part in the South African economy, very, very common, and so we'll take a look at that because there's a little bit more to a lay-by sale than a standard sale. If we have a look at the standard sale now, again, we can use the shortcuts, F5, or click on the sale option, and that'll take you through to this particular form. What we've got here is the customer selection. So what we can do is input customer, a customer name, a customer number, whichever it may be. I'm entering in my particular surname and first name, and that's going through and filtering all the existing persons within the database, and it's coming up with me as a selection. If I wasn't within the database, I wasn't predefined, I could click on new person and go punch in some details for myself. Within standard sales, generally not used, more so within a credit sale, but also extensively within a loyalty scheme or a loyalty package, which we integrate fully with our program. We've also got an attendant field. Now the attendant is not necessarily the user that's logged in, which is displayed in brackets up here, but can be the shop attendant who assisted to the particular customer and who's going to be sort of credited with that particular sale and who's going to earn the commissions based on that. So if we scan the item that we're looking for, in this particular example it's code 102-1105 in black and it's a size 4. If I wanted to manually find a product, I could do the same thing in the event my scanner was broken. -1105-beige, and I could select a size 4 here as well. This orangey ready color that's appearing here is a warning that we input within the system to say that if the sale is processed, it's going to put you into a negative stock type scenario. So generally a warning. We do allow for negative stock because in the real world there may be times when it's needed, but we build in intelligence to identify and alert the particular user. Let me scan another particular product, or another 2 products. So you can see the size 3, for argument's sake, is black, so there's a positive stock value there, whereas the 4s and 5s of these particular products are either 0 or negative stock at this particular moment. If we wanted to process the sale now, we could click on save, and that would move us through to the tender grid. However, what may also happen in the real world is this particular customer now is umming and ahhing about the shoes that have been selected here and goes to try on something else. What we would do then is suspend this particular transaction so we can process sales of another customer, and then when the original customer has made up his or her mind, we can call back that transaction. Now let's say that item is one that they didn't want, and they didn't want that one either. They just wanted to take those 2. You see I just deleted those 2 particular lines. I could also offer a discount if I wanted to by putting in, say, 5% discount there, and that changes the price of the line. Or alternatively, I could say it's being sold at 250 Rand, and that would back and calculate the discount. When a discount is given, we need to select what's called an analysis code. These are reasons as to why a particular discount was given, which helps reporting analysis at a later stage. So we can select discount for pensioners, for argument's sake. I can then click on save, and that will bring up my tender grid, which I've got these various different tenders input within the system. They can obviously be fully customizable, so whether you want credit and debit card separately or a single entry as card, that can all be done for you. Let's say the customer wants to put 150 Rand on the credit card. They have a center voucher for the particular shopping center in which the store is located of 100 Rand, and the balance they're going to pay with cash via 300 Rand. You can see this change of 20 Rand owed to the customer. Click on OK or press enter. That will go through and save the sale. You may have been able to hear the receipt printing in the background. That pops out and the form is refreshed for the new sale. If you're processing a credit sale, again, very, very similar process. We can select the customer if you want. Again, selection of the customer is optional. You don't have to do it. We can scan the particular item, one of which was sold, and they can return that particular item. This analysis code again comes into play when processing of credit sales, and let's say it was uncomfortable or it didn't fit correctly, and that's why this particular item is being brought back. We can click on save, and we've got that particular amount being refunded in the tender of cash. Should you wish to give a credit note, you could select a company voucher as an example, which is a credit note, gift voucher, and what will happen is your cash won't be reduced. It'll issue a voucher or a credit note to the value of 280 Rand, which can then be used as tender in any of the branches within the particular company. So we can say OK there. That will print out the gift voucher or the credit note, and it'll print out 2 receipts, one to be kept in store and one to go to the customer. Again, the damaged merchandise transaction, very much the same as the return to sales stock, except that stock won't be credited as sales stock in your stock room. It'll go to a damaged stock room. We can have a look further with that when we deal with all the various different stock rooms to do with receipting and transferring of stock in another video to follow. So basically from the sale form, that's sort of enough to give you an idea, I would think. If we have quickly a look at the lay-by sale form, we can click on lay-by sale, and that'll open up the lay-by sale. What we've got here, very similar to the normal sale, except we've got more customer details. So if we briefly go through creation of a new lay-by, obviously with the lay-by sale we have to select a new customer. I'll use myself as an example. Select that user, or that customer should I say. We've got a start and expiry date. Those are default, can be sort of customized within the system to say, is it a 3-month term, is it a 6-month term, and it'll put in a recommended expiry date. That can obviously be changed as well. We've also got a reminder date, so let's put in a reminder date of the 10th of the 2nd to say that on the 10th of February, please call customer to remind about payments. And then when the application is opened up on the morning of the 10th, that will pop up and alert the user. Alright, so now let's add the particular items that they want to take out on lay-by. Let's say they're taking that item and they're taking that item for argument's sake. Again, the 2 different colors mean black, there is stock, orangey red, there is no stock. We've also got a legacy lay-by number field. Legacy codes in general throughout the application are used when moving from your existing system to Software for Fashion. What it allows you to do is tie in product codes, lay-bys, those types of things with old numbers used in the previous system. Because at the changeover point, obviously, existing lay-bys would have the old lay-by docket number, and when they bring that in, you can now search by the legacy lay-by number or the previous lay-by number, as well as the new one that will be generated within our product. So let's say we have those 2 items there. We can go through and say save. What that brings up is the payment form. By default, you can see a 10% deposit is required within this particular setup. Again, that can be changed to 20%. It's also just a recommendation. However, because if the customer only had 70 Rand in this example, would you turn them away? Yes, no, not too sure. So let's say they're paying 70 Rand for this lay-by, they're giving you a 100 Rand note, you're giving them 30 Rand change. Say OK, press enter, that completes that particular transaction. What that does now is print out 2 lay-by dockets, one to go to the customer, one to be attached to the merchandise, and we can see under the history that the total is 730, balance is 660, deposit 70 Rand, etc. Any rounding that comes into play. You can go through and make additional payments now. Let's break this down into 2 payments. Let's say we're making a payment here of 350. The customer is giving you a payment of 350, which is now going to get added again to that lay-by. And now we've only got a balance of 310 Rand. And if we're going to make a final payment, let's say make payment, and we'll pay the full balance, which is 310. Again, you couldn't say for argument's sake 350, because that would complain because you're paying more than what the lay-by, the balance of the lay-by is. So let's say 310 Rand. Okay, And now that will complete that particular labor, close it off, stop you from processing any further payments against it, and reduce your stock. Again, as mentioned with that RTM stockroom, we've also got a lay-by stockroom. So when a lay-by is created, stock is moved out of your active stock or your floor stock, put into a lay-by stockroom to avoid confusion when looking at stock reports, so that you actually have a true stocking reflection, because these particular items were allocated to the customers, so they wouldn't be available for sale, so you'd need to get new items to replenish that particular stock. You can see the close date, when it was closed, who it was closed by, and if we have a look at the history tab, all the various different payments that were made within that particular transaction. Just maybe a little bit too detailed, but anyway, what we have is the various different lay-by payments that were processed. How it works is it accrues all the lay-by payments, processes a negative lay-by payment for the sum of the initial payments, and then processes a sale. That has really been done from an accounting perspective, to move it out of an accrual into an actual sale with cost of sales, etc. And that is how you go through and process a particular lay-by sale. You can also go and add lines to an existing lay-by. You can go remove lines. There's various different ways to go through and do things, and as well as a range of lay-by reports to detail active and inactive reports. So within our audit reports, we've also got the ability to say inactive lay-bys, active lay-bys, which ones are outstanding, which ones are not outstanding. And then just on that note, within the lay-by, if we select a previous lay-by, so as you can see here, anything with green is complete, anything with a white background is still active, and then if it has a purple background, there we go, let's try to find one of those. If it has a purple background, it means it's actually been cancelled. With a active lay-by, in the event of cancelling that particular lay-by, if the expiry date has been reached, you can cancel that, and you have the option to return the stock only or return the stock and refund. What that really does, it's a key feature, because when your lay-by has expired, the customer's not always in there when you want to clear out those lay-bys. Now, to go and refund it means you actually taking the cash out of the till, and that opens up loopholes to fraud where attendants can now start pocketing the money, etc. So you can go through a return to stock only function, which simply makes that stock now available to sell on the floor as opposed to being tied up to a lay-by. Then when this particular customer comes in, Mr. or Mrs. Zama Zondi comes in to claim their lay-by or to make another payment, you can call up this lay-by and say, sorry, we've actually cancelled it, and then refund them their money. They're not going to forfeit anything in this example. Let's say they paid 300, they will get 300 back, and then they can use that on a new lay-by, take the money, walk away, whatever it may be. If you want to impose a forfeiture, you can do so as well. So those are just key features, just making the lay-by process that much easier, that much more effective in managing stock, in managing the cash that's associated with that, without opening up the various different loopholes for other customers or possibly your staff to start trying to fiddle the system. That's sort of a brief overview of the sales. I don't want to go into too much detail. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Please look out for some of our other videos to do with the various different stock reporting functionality as well as the security functions. Thanks. Bye for now.